Come on a beautiful day, and we've got fantastic views of the windows here in the church. This is the first time we've got a chance to use the church, and can I just say that we are indebted obviously to Gerald to make sure that we got memories then of this church, which sadly may not be here for that much longer. We also want to recognise Gerald's contribution to his ministry over the last 40 years. Today you're just talking about your memories, and I'll try and let you get a chance to just say whatever. That's all very casual, so feel free. We'll start off here with our resident expert, May, who's had a little session before. Just say who you are and where you live, just to start us off. So start with me. Just to give us.
Well, I'm May Gardiner, and I was born at Ferrynow, which was then a small farm, on the 14th of February 1932.
Thank you.
And I was christened in April by the Rev Gerald Jones.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we'll maybe come back to that and all your knowledge about the previous ministers, May. So moving on. Sorry.
I was there until I was 10 years old.
Right.
And I have fond memories of walking to the school. Mm. In those days, you walked, doesn't matter what the weather was, walked through snow and took a shortcut through some of the fields and walked down the driveway from what was then Kirkmichael House. It was a convalescent home for the miners in those days. Yeah. And many a chat we had with the three people who kept all the driveways and everything.
Well, we'll move on to come back to you, May, and you can tell us all about the previous ministers and all the rest of it. Am I allowed to say how many years you've been in this area? Am I allowed to tell everybody what age you are? Or maybe
yes, I don't mind. I'm 93.
93. Well done, May. If that's Kirkmichael, if that's what Kirkmichael Air does to him, well, let's hope we get some of it. Moving on, Ken.
My name is Ken Murray. I live at Ferrynow Cottage. Strangely enough, I didn't know May that you lived there. That was a bit of information.
It was a small farm then, Grandpa McFarlane had it.
McFarlane, that's right. I was born and brought up in Bridgeton in Glasgow, and we moved down to live in Ayr. We bought a house there for an uncle, full of tenants. We couldn't even have a place to sleep for many years. And that would be, I'd be about 12 and a half years of age then. Mm-hmm. I just had ordinary, because I'm dyslexic and that, things, it was as quick as I could get out of school and get a job. And I was 15 when on the Friday I was run out of school, and I went straight into a job on the Monday, into the car trade.
Didn't waste any time then.
And that was, no, I didn't waste any time.
Right.
And yeah. But
so you've been in this area for a long time.
Sorry?
You weren't born in this area, but obviously you've been in this area for a long time.
Moved down, bought Ferrynow. Mary and I bought that in 1978. Right. It was derelict then. Yeah. Yes. There was pallet wood in the windows, etc. Anyway, cut a long story short, we had to get that sorted out so we could live in it. And we took residence in 1980. Right. 1980. I'm still there yet.
Sorry, just to tell everyone, Ferrynow is, everybody knows where Ferrynow is because you can go for a nice walk up the Kirkmichael Woods, and it's just a short distance from the centre of the village. So nice location there.
One of the happiest, if not the happiest time in my life was running the Sunday school.
Yes, I'm going to come back to that.
All right, okay, right.
And I'll come back to the Sunday school.
Right.
Thanks, Ken. Lindsay.
Hi, I'm Lindsay McQuater, and I came to the village in 1990 when we took over Jock's restaurant, and we were in that house for 6 years, and I started coming to church. I actually met Gerald in the fish and chip shop, I think, when he was just taking up post. And I remember meeting Gerald in the fish and chip shop in Maybole, and he had I remember the scarf he had on, Gerald. I think it was Glasgow University scarf. And anyway, started coming here, and I was lucky enough to be able to entertain some of the parties from the church, the elders' Christmas party, and the choir, which I also became a member of and still am. And so it's been a long time associated with.
You now live outside the village, but have connections.
Yes, we were in Jocks for 6 years, and then we moved up to a farm on the road to Strayton, and we've been there for 28 and a half years. But I still come down to Kirkmichael as often as possible.
Okay, moving on to Jim. Jim, I'll let you tell your story.
Hello, I'm Jim Phillips, and I moved into the area from the south side of Glasgow when I retired from business. We came to the church here the second week or the third week after being in residence in our house in the country, and got a very, very warm welcome. So I've been here ever since. So it's been a wonderful experience, and the village as well as the church is a most welcoming place, and the number of activities and the wonderful people who live in and around the village. It's just a treat to be somewhere, in some way, associated with it all.
You can't have many spare days. I know that you have a very busy diary. You're involved in so many things in the village and in the church, and that applies. Just make that point that the people involved in the church also are part of the other groups which we've interviewed before. So moving on to Jeanette.
Excuse me. I'm Jeanette Beattie, and I live in Patton Road. I've been there since 1990, 35 years, and just love being here. Got involved in the guild and got talked into being the treasurer, which was for 3 years, and it turned out to be 26. Anyway, it was all fun.
Right, thank you. Robert, right, I'll let you...
I'm Robert McFadgen. I was born at Bernil Farm in 1947. My parents and my grandparents have been between Strayton and Kirkmichael for going back to before the 1900s, and we've the association with both villages, and it's a wonderful place to be, I can tell you that very much, and we've just had lots of great memories and activities over the years here, and I think we've a great community.
Robert, you lived in Rowan Farm, so we nearly got you in the farmers group, but we saved you for this group. So you're now living in Ayr. Yes. Now Rowan's just less than a mile, and Betty has connection with Rowan as well, so it doesn't take long before there's quite a lot of overlap in all these stories. Gordon.
I'm Gordon Pettigrew. I escaped to the country in 2009. Like Jim, we stayed in the south side of Glasgow, Newton Mearns. I took early retirement, came down here to Hillhead Cottage, which is just outside the village at the top of the hill. It dates back to 1850. It was a former dairy cottage for Mochanearney Farm. I'm quite used to this area because I was a student at Auchincruive, where I took my degree in horticulture. So it was, in a way, coming back to some roots here. And like everybody else, the village is second to none.
That's why you got involved in the gardening club, no doubt.
Correct,
so we
yes.
have expertise there, and we have to thank you for these nice flowers which you've arranged today. Well, brought today. I'll say arranged.
Thank
Come
you.
on, cheeky Anyway, so everybody has connections one way or the other with the village or with the church. And I'm going to go back to May, because May, you can tell us a wee bit about previous ministers before Gerald came here. I've already filmed some of the previous ministers, a list of them here on the wall, but Yeah, I think you can tell us a wee bit about previous, as far as your memory goes.
Well, the first was the Rev Gerald Jones, followed by Walden Buffett. Mr. Johnson he ran Ayr County Council, just say that, because his word went, and he was a good minister. And I remember sitting up here when we were in our teens, and a Sunday afternoon they took a Bible class. And we went to that for quite a number of years. And then we joined the church. I can remember standing here when I was about 18. There was 5 of us joined that Sunday all together. 2 female and 3 male. But we were standing in front, Nessie Watson now, Nessie Thompson then, later Miss End, and I joined together here. And Mr. Johnson put us through our P's and Q's, I can tell you.
Did he ask questions then? Did you have to
Yes,
answer like an exam almost?
Pardon?
Almost like an exam?
No, I wouldn't say that, no, but he knew you, and he had a nice talk with everybody. The males are a bit older than us. I don't remember who they were now, but I can remember so well the day we joined the church and met all the elders.
The name Reverend Johnson has come up quite a bit in our conversations in the following. He was not just a minister, I think. He had a lot of influence, as May suggested, in the village.
It was Ayr County Council in those days.
Yes.
And his word went. He had a great working relationship with a lot of them that was on the council. Really.
So he had a lot of influence. So the
Oh,
minister
yes,
had more roles than just one.
Oh yes, he definitely did have.
Yes, and I think, yes, we've got stories of him frequenting not making comparisons here, Jill, but frequenting the local hostelry and so on. So, yes, he was sociable in that respect. And then after that was the Reverend Moffat.
Yes, Walden and Moffat. He was nice too.
Yes,
He was really, really nice.
Very good. We'll maybe come back to hear a wee bit more. And there are a lot of, we've talked about Gerald will speak about the history of the church and the history of this building and all the rest of it, but a lot of the people here have been involved in different aspects of the activities of the church. Certainly I can, as a resident, remember my children going to the Sunday school, and that's what you were just going to talk about, Ken.
Yes, for my sins, I was forced into it.
So tell us a wee bit. I think we might have old footage somewhere in one of the old videos. I don't know where it came from.
Yeah, I'll have slides somewhere.
What about Cloncaird, visits to Cloncaird and that?
Oh yeah. 2 or 3 times we were asked there. Mary and I were very friendly with the McGregors at Cloncaird, and they doted on our kids. So it was dead easy, they offered. In fact,
this is Cloncaird Castle, just
up the Straighton Road.
Up the Straighton Road, and this would have been the Sunday school trip.
Sunday school trips,
So,
yes.
So there were lots of activities. Tell us a wee bit about that.
Well, I think the highlight of all the activities we did it was Noah's Ark.
Oh, right.
And I commandeered Mary, my son and daughter, up into the loft, and using sheets of cardboard, some were solid cardboard, others were corrugated, so you could roll them. And we made over there, those pews here, that was going to be the boat, right? And we made 2 pieces of a port and starboard bow, which is the shape, and it's slotted in to where the pews that are there. So they were self-supporting.
Right.
And it also had a stem head that went in and pins went through
Very
it, all done in
technical.
cardboard.
Right.
And the kids, we even had the big two-handed saw, which was made of cardboard. And all the wooden parts was, I bought some, how fashion changes. You could get your own Naughty Pine wallpaper.
Yeah, all right.
And it was very, very authentic, and it really looked the thing. So all the wooden parts, that was all pasted up in the loft and dried out, so it actually looked like wood. And so we even had logs made out of that as well, and the kids, it was just fantastic.
Can you remember some of the people that you worked with? I remember,
Yes, some of them, my memory is really bad with names, always has been.
I'm not much.
I'll start with my wife.
Yeah.
There was Jackie Ridge,
Oh yes, that's right. Did she?
who her and her husband run the big house at that time.
House, yes.
There was Sheila Moyer,
Yes.
who's excellent. There was Jane Ravenscroft.
Oh yes.
And then there was another lady from Cross Hill. I'm sorry, I can't remember her name. And then there was Maya Brown,
Oh yes. Mark's
and
neighbour.
she kept the books right. And yeah, we had, and Gerald could give me facts on this. I think I'm right in saying on the roll we had about 40 or 42. Am I correct? And I would say in the average Sunday, the attendance was in the high 30s. So I think it's fair we must have done something right. Anyway, that particular thing, going back to Noah's Ark, I had recordings done. I had a friend that worked in the education department, and he had to do with the electronic sound stuff, etc. And he gave me cassettes of Storm,
All right.
torrential
Yes,
rain,
yes.
thunder and lightning, all that kind of thing. And I transferred it onto the big 7-inch reel-to-reel, which was sat over there. It was the control area. It was away from everything else. So I had them all sorted out. And when God was talking to Noah, it was Jackie Ridge's husband,
Right,
David,
Dave.
and he had a lovely, deep thing with voice. So I don't know if you know or not, but God actually has an English accent. Okay, Gerald. Well, he had that day.
Someone expressed surprise afterwards. I always remember this. Someone expressed surprise afterwards that God spoke with a Geordie accent. Geordie accent.
And it was one of my flash guns was the lightning, and it just was, it was a joy to do, a lot of work.
Very good.
And the kids, the ones that didn't listen to God, right, they were all in this bit here, and we had I think it was Sheila Moyer that got a hold of it. It was a very large sheet of blue satin. So you brought that up, and the kids were underneath. That was demonstrating the water. You know, that's the thing. So that was one. That was that.
Well, sorry, I'll move on.
Right, carry on.
You can think of other stories. Just
There's
as we
another
move
two,
on.
yeah.
Okay, Lindsay, your children and so on, apart from yourself, were your kids here at this Sunday school, or they missed that? Maybe I'm
I
getting
think they
that.
did go
Yeah.
Towards the end of the Sunday
Yes,
school.
you did. Yeah,
They
your
did.
kids
Well,
were
I've
there.
seen your granddaughter coming back in this more recent time, not the Sunday school, but obviously to take part.
And to the church,
Yeah,
yes.
very good.
Yep.
Bringing them along, which is nice. Yeah. So I mean, the children played a big part at that time. Something I remember there, May and Robert, you'll maybe remember this. The church, there were 2 church services. So Gerald's got an easy time, you know. Although he's doing work between Kirkmichael and Strain. There were 2 church services, not right, in the evening. Do you remember that?
Yes,
That's it.
And there was Bible classes, we were saying, and obviously Sunday school and all the rest. I don't know whether you want to chirp in there. And it was changed days basically. The church had a bigger part, and I'm saying this from Rhona Allanch, I'm sorry to take over, but that was what you did. Everything revolved around the church. Well, it wasn't only just Sunday. So, moving on now, you're an elder as well, Gordon, and we've got a few elders here. But Robert, you're the longest serving, here today, but if that's right. isn't it?
Well, the elders, I think, over the years can't be praised enough for what they've done for the area and the church fetes and the band dances and all the fundraising things, really, ably supported by Gerald here. They've always worked as a very, very good team, and there's lots of fun and lots of enjoyment, especially the church fete and the dances and the ploughman lunches and all the elders' wives. I think they possibly get the heavy end a bit sometimes. They got all the work to do.
That was the point I wanted you to make.
But there's lots of good fun, and the teamwork always went very well. And all the old guys that are maybe not here today shouldn't be forgotten anyway. The Drew McCrindles and the Billy Millers and the Willie Lemons and all that.
Yes.
They're invaluable to a community like this.
Speaking of Willie Lemons, he told me that I don't know whether he was involved in the Reverend Moffat's flitting or your flitting, but he told me this, and that he sowed the seeds of the lawn at the manse. Is that true? Yes, so that's Willie who's still an elder, but he's not keeping so well. So he told me that here the other day. So the different jobs were not just the Sunday jobs.
Everybody can turn their hand to a different aspect of the job to be
Yes,
done.
yes.
Yes, it's very
And I
good.
say you were making the point about the wives. Can imagine the fetes and the tea making and so on, all those buns and the table, preparing all this food and everything. You would be at some of these functions, Jeanette.
Yeah, I was involved in the fete, which was great fun, really.
Yeah.
And it was
Well attended, and
Absolutely.
the teas certainly were a big highlight. There was ice cream. I don't know if you were on the ice cream or not. But there was ice cream and the vegetables. That's right.
Jim was involved
Yeah,
in the fete
that's
as
where you
well.
would come in, Gordon.
Yes, Robert and I and Willie Lemond was very good at sourcing vegetables along with Robert. I produced the plants, so that was a great eye-catcher for people coming along. And the whole thing was to raise funds for the church, and everybody just mucked in, and it was a great day out.
Yeah. Did he get the turnips, did he?
Correct.
I wanted to ask a question. You all know what you're talking about in terms of vegetables, but being an outsider, what did you do with these vegetables? What was it about?
We sold them.
We sold, yes, so we sold them to raise
I
funds.
had a stall,
Yes.
and we sold jams and plants and everything really.
Bric-a-brac and everything.
Well, they had a big book stall as well that was very popular. Jim did the book stall.
I was next door at I don't know what you call it, everything that nobody else wanted, a stall.
And Katrina Haston, who lives two houses away, she and I did the tombola for years. We did the tombola stall for years.
Is that legal?
No, don't mention it. No, it was great fun. Absolutely great fun.
It was kind of
And we were able to
old-fashioned.
use the new man's lawn and so on, which was...
Oh yes,
And we were just praying for good weather, and Gerald usually worked.
There's a lovely situation at the manse, really. It did the job perfectly, really.
Yes.
It was just a nice setting all together.
And they had a dog show, a pet show every year, which was great. And
Daisy won it.
Daisy won it one year, yes.
That was my dog.
Folk
But
even brought a hen along
It could be a hen or a rabbit or anything,
All
you know.
sorts of animals, creatures appeared.
Good fun.
That was good fun. Yeah, there were some good bargains as well, actually.
Oh, yeah.
I remember that things coming. I thought, wonder if that man's coming back with those carpet tiles again.
They're short of a few.
They were short.
And what date in history are we talking about when that happened?
Well,
It was every year.
Yeah, it was every year.
Every August, like the second Saturday in August, and unfortunately it hasn't gone for a few years. Just,
Well, COVID, I think.
yeah, COVID
COVID
really
had spoiled a few things.
Well, it's time to reintroduce it then, isn't it?
Unfortunately, COVID had an effect on it, and the marquees that we got at a discounted rate from a charity, the charity folded up during COVID, and the marquees were, I don't know where they are, taken away. Also, various UK government, Scottish government, introduced thereafter legislations about selling food in public and so forth, and the church law department took up what was required, and the amount of planning now would be beyond maybe what we had in the past, certainly, because you must list all the stuff in the home baking stall was very popular. You must by law list all the contents.
Ingredients.
Ingredients. And the person providing the baking is supposed to have a level 1 hygiene certificate.
Just spoils everything.
Health and safety now.
Just spoils everything.
I was just remembering there, Jim, just came into my head, cheese and wine. And I don't know why I thought of wine when I was just sitting there looking at you.
It looks nice and comfy.
Jim's a wine
That was
expert.
another great social occasion.
Yes, it was.
And the atmosphere coming from the suburbs where you didn't have these kind of events, the atmosphere at the church fete and at the cheese and wine party in the man's garden was fantastic. And all you needed to make it perfect was a nice afternoon or an evening in the case of the cheese and wine, and a bit of sunshine, And it always reminded me of scenes from Agatha Christie when you had in the church fete in the afternoon, and everybody was there, everybody was dressed, the ladies in summer coats and the gents in their shirt sleeves and so on. And it was a fantastic atmosphere.
Oh, it really was.
And then
Summer murders.
there was the treasure hunt as well.
Yes, it was
Which
just
was-
we made it up one year, and then there was one year they made a mistake, and that was the only year that I think we were first or second, because Richard knew it was a mistake. They weren't. But yes, there were some really good people taking part in the treasure hunt. I loved the treasure hunts. They were great.
Noreen,
stuff.
could it roll back to the cheese and wine?
Yeah.
The last time we had it, or the last time we had, one of the things we had the Wheel of Fortune. And I was picked to do this. I'd done it the year before. And Gerald came up to me after, I remember, and he says, Ken, we're not going to do this. This is the last time we're going to have the Wheel of Fortune. I says, well, was I not doing something right? He said, no. 121 George Street said it's gambling.
Oh, yes.
And you remember what I said to you?
No. Can you say what
I says 121 George Street is heavily into stocks and shares. So I says, I take it that's maybe gambling as well. So it's a case of don't do as I do, do as I say, and that's why that stopped. You know,
Yes.
There's so many things.
A whist as well.
We used to have a whist.
Whist, yes, I
With a
remember-
whist, yeah.
I remember playing whist. Don't know whether you
I had to stop that as well for the same reason.
Yeah, for say, oh yes, I can't help that. Yeah, the whist, right. So the Daffodil Teas, is that maybe the
Yep,
guild?
that was the
Right.
guild.
Yeah, tell me about the guild. You were involved in the guild as well.
Yes. Yeah, the Daffodil Teas was a great highlight for the guild. A lot of work for all the ladies, and the home baking was second to none. But it was all set out upstairs in the village hall.
Beautiful china.
Beautiful-
Absolutely immaculate
Yes.
tables.
Oh
All the
yeah.
tables set out with
Wee bit of
daffodils, home
competition, I
baking.
would say, between tables. You never know.
But it was a great fundraiser for the guild, and part of that money would go to charity. Some of it would go back to the church. But it was very popular. Again, over the years, it started to slip. Coffee mornings, daffodil teas, that sort of thing seemed to die. Not quite die a death, but we eventually stopped the daffodil teas, and then we had a smaller event. It was still a morning coffee, morning tea, instead of the whole afternoon event. But it almost proved very popular.
Yes. I remember that too. Yeah, and you were involved. And were you the first man to be involved in the guild? Were you?
Yes, I probably the first.
Just reversing roles.
I mean, the Church of Scotland Guild came about in 1887.
Right.
I'm not quite sure when Kirkmichael Guild started, but it must have been going for 100 years.
1902, I think, initially.
Right.
But it stopped during the war years. There were various times when it didn't
Yes.
exist, and then it was revived.
It was always called the Women's Guild.
That's
and
right, yeah.
in churches, men had a men's association in a lot of churches. So there was the two things, and eventually, again, numbers were dwindling in churches and people, men and ladies, were not supporting these events. So a decision was made, I'm not quite sure, it must have been round about, or just before the millennium.
In 97,
Was
98.
it? Yes, the Guild, it would be called the Guild. So men and ladies would become all one, it would be one. And when I came to Kirkmichael in 2009, I rejoined the church in Kirkmichael. I mean, being a member up in Glasgow, and I think the year 2011, we'd come along to the Guild, my wife and I, and the usual, the first EGM, Noreen was the current president at that time, and there was no vice president, and of course Joe Monk, we hear, was nominated, and I was then on till 2023 as president, and I think probably the first male president, if not in Air Presidency, if not in Scotland.
I remember that being surprised. I thought, oh,
yes, because everybody think, it's a ladies, it's a women's thing. It's very much, and we were fortunate in Kirkmichael that we had at least half a dozen men, and our numbers, I think, in around about 2014-15, we were up to about 20, which was great compared to a lot of guilds who are beginning to struggle, and many have folded now, but fortunately through Gerald and his wife Janet, they've kept the guild going, and we're still operating as a guild.
You were involved in it too, and so were you, Lindsay?
Yes, Lindsay.
Yep, I was president for 3 years. I can't remember which years, but I can remember I was president for 3 years.
Jeanette, you said you were the treasurer, the treasurer way back.
Yeah.
Isn't that right, treasurer?
Yeah.
So,
As I said to Jeanette, I was checking up on the constitution for the guild, and the latest constitution, I think, was 2019, and it recommends that nobody should serve for longer than 3 years on committee. But as you know, people, once you're on committee, you never go off the committee. So, yes, Jeanette has certainly been our longest serving committee member, but most people have done a great stint on the committees.
And how I got to be in the guild, I came to church soon after we came, Jim and I, and Vera, remember Vera Hall? She said to me, "Are you going to come to the guild?" I said, "I'll think about it." She said, "Okay, I'll call for you." So she called for me, and that was me in
in the door.
Yes. She was a great person, Vera.
Oh, yes.
One of the biggest things was when they brought lady elders into the
that's significant.
So I don't know when that would start, Gerald. You've been making memory of the first. There was great debate about that for a long time.
1966, I think, was the first.
Really?
Was elders, but churches were.
Right.
Where there weren't any, they were allowed to continue. Then the then principal clerk, which would be in the late 80s, mid to late 80s, issued an edict saying that when there were vacancies for elders, we were obliged to consider women in equal terms. And not personally to me, to everyone.
No, just listening.
Because there were others who didn't, to be honest, wanted the traditional view. And we had the first women elders at Straighton, I think, then it was Kirkmichael.
And roughly what year was that, sorry? You're good with years.
1966.
In the 90s.
90s.
About 1990 maybe. 1990.
Around 90, Robert. 89, 90.
When you think of that, that's over 30 years. When you say 90, it seems like yesterday, but that's over 30 years ago. So now the balance, I haven't brought it, but we have a photograph of the older members, elders. I don't know whether you have a recent photograph of the present group at all, but maybe that's something that you will organise. But that was all male. With Hans Rogie and that.
Yes,
and I think you're in that photograph too, Ken.
Yeah, I came from the old Kirkmichael. I think it was about 1966 or something I became an elder. Quite a bit away.
Yeah. So you'll have seen a lot of changes made. I mentioned there it used to be 2 services and there were so many things going on.
Yes.
So it's a busy time.
When my mum was young, my grandfather was in Rowan. from 1913 they came there. And Mum used to say about coming to the midday service. And they had a great choir in those days. And both she and one of her older sisters were in the choir. And then they would go home. The milking had to be done, all the dishes, dairy dishes washed up and everything done. And they came down to the evening service. And the same again, and the choir was there. And in those days, they came from Cross Hill.
Ah.
They walked up from Cross Hill in those days because there was no church in Cross Hill.
Oh, really? I'll need to check on the dates from Cross Hill. I know that this Kirkmichael Parish is a big area,
Yes,
so I'm not sure when that Cross Hill. I'll need to check on that. Jill, you don't know?
There was an anniversary in 1988 in Cross Hill, and I was invited to take part in the Thanksgiving service. I can't remember if it was 100 years.
Right, so it's a new, and the same with the cemetery, as we know, that the original coffins were brought from Cross Hill because there were no cemetery.
Yes,
And there was a scheme, maybe some of you heard of you might, it was near your neck of the woods, Ken, to have, that's the old Coffin Road. I don't know.
There used to be a bridge which is no longer there.
Yes.
If you come up to Fairy now, turn left, follow the field down, it goes down and down to the river, and there was a bridge across there.
That's right.
It got washed away.
I walked across it many a time.
Yeah, I'm sure
and
you
walked through the fields from there,
Yes.
McKailston Fields, to my aunt and uncle who stayed in one of the cottages on McKailston Farm.
That's in Cross Hill, isn't it?
But that
We
bridge
were
is not
just
there.
children, but I can remember walking over the bridge.
Is that the
Down through the
Iron
wood.
Bridge?
Pardon?
They called it the Iron Bridge.
Iron Bridge,
The
yeah.
Iron Bridge,
I think there's a water pipe underneath it. I think that was one of the reasons that I don't think they use it.
Yes,
But it got washed away.
Many a time I walked down through
Yeah.
there. It was a great walk for people from the village coming up on a Sunday and going down through the wood into the left cane as you would walk down.
Right.
They would walk there on a Sunday quite
Yeah,
often.
and you could
I can-
cut back to the big house.
Yes,
as well. Yeah,
uh-huh.
that's right.
I can
It comes to
remember-
a T-junction.
I can remember Nancy Kelly
Oh, it's a lovely walk.
when she was young and had a boyfriend. He walked down through there. I can remember that. Many a time we had a chat. That's going back
We need to
now.
censor this now, will we?
Because when Nancy Kelly sang in the choir with my mum, but she was a young member. She'd maybe be about 12 at the time. I remember all that.
Very good.
She worked in the office at the creamery, Nancy.
Of course, you worked in the creamery as well.
I worked in the lab,
In the
but
lab.
Nancy was in the office when she was
Yes.
was young.
So back to the choir, and I'll go to you, Lindsay. And you can just, we had great success. I'll let you
Yep,
tell that.
yep, indeed. But
Festival,
unfortunately, we've had 3 or 4 choir mistresses or masters,
yes,
including
John Duncan.
John Duncan was the first, I think,
Yes.
when I
Played the
remember
organ.
joining anyway. And then there was an Eileen somebody or other, was there? Can't remember her second name.
Dalrymple.
Yes, I think so. And then Kay Feldman for a while,
Yes.
and then Helen Dorn.
Yeah.
Alan was also choir master for a while, and we now have Gerald Payton. But I think it was Kay that took us to the music festival
Yes.
at the town hall,
Yes.
and we were successful with
Yeah, we won.
our piece.
3 times.
Yes, yeah. So it's been good, and it's still going after a fashion. Whenever we can come out and lead the congregation.
It was, I'll agree with you, it was very good to be involved.
It was quite a night that at the town hall. It was quite something.
And what did you sing?
Well, Rutter always comes to mind. I don't know
Yep,
why
John
Rutter.
Rutter.
John Rutter
Yep.
was the
I learned
one
that
that,
much.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a whole range of different things.
Aye, but we got certificates and things for that.
Oh, yes,
I
we
don't
did.
know that now. Yeah.
Yeah, recognition for their achievement. Yeah, I can't, but they were quite complicated. This was part singing. You
Oh
know,
yes, yeah.
It wasn't just.
No,
And you're in the choir too, Jill.
Yeah, Gerald was in the choir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, I remember the night, Gerald, sorry to say this, the night we were going to the town hall and you'd cut your thing with a razor, do you remember that? And it wouldn't stop bleeding. You know, keep dabbing it, you know, do you remember that?
That's right, you had blood coming
I'll
out.
never forget it.
There's some things I remember, I don't know why.
I'll never forget that. Elder Scobie, I thought the nurse, she took me aside and tried to
Thought we'd have to carry on.
Stem
the
the flow.
Aye,
tissues or
oh,
something and pressed
and the more
it
you
in and
think
all
it,
sorts of things. That was about 5 minutes before we were due to go on
That's
stage.
right.
Oh,
Yes,
I'll never forget that. Never.
I'd forgotten that, Ken. That's it.
And the choir has also gone to Blair Wan and accompanied people.
oh, dash, I could have
And
got
we've taken part in weddings, including my daughter's wedding at Blair Wan, which was lovely.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's right.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
lovely.
That was,
And there was somebody else went to choir.
yeah, that was.
It was quite important.
See, we've got the organist as Gerald Bacon, who was
Yes,
the organist.
he wouldn't take on the choir, and that's why it
No,
was-
no, but he's
embarrassed.
a very good organist, though. And
It's unfortunate.
On the same subject, I do remember what it was now. We actually made a professional recording,
Oh yes.
oh,
CD.
That's right, that's right.
and I remember it was when Kay was the leader, and it was the company just out here. Is it AB something? It's something sound thing.
That's right.
Is it AB? And anyway, very professionally done. And he stopped Kay and he says, "There's a ticking noise, I don't know what it was." And it was, this is how sensitive the stuff was. It was her nails on the organ keys.
Oh my goodness.
The thing's picking it up there, and she's there, and it could pick it up. You know, I always remember that. Unfortunately, my CD, I don't know what went wrong, but it went a funny colour, and you know, it was obviously
It
a bad
wasn't a
disc.
CD, it was a cassette.
Cassette.
No,
Yes, I still have
definitely
the
it was a cassette because I threw it out not that long ago.
Oh,
It was definitely a CD.
oh, I'll need to have a look.
I think you could actually get it in both formats.
All right.
Mine was definitely
I
a CD.
didn't think CDs were produced by that
Aye,
time.
well, but mine went a kind of
Maybe
purple
Gerald's
colour.
Well, we were recognised for our recording.
Oh yeah,
When
here we
cassette,
go, here we
cassette.
go.
yes.
That's it.
But you could also get it
In CD.
in CD,
Oh, very good. There we are.
definitely. Because I just threw it out not that long ago.
Of course, for CDs.
98, I think.
90, really?
98. Coming to you, one night only.
Because I never had it. I don't remember it now. I definitely had it in CD.
All right, I was able.
Whether later on it was changed, maybe.
Yep. I think they were mostly, what's the expression? What kind of music were they?
Thanks.
Reggae. There was a lot of reggae music on that one.
Oh, really?
Well,
Yep.
Did you all have different favourites that you liked to sing?
Oh yes, Yep. Yep.
Sacred Head, the Easter one. Sacred
Yes,
Head.
they're great
Easter.
favourite.
And then there was one that was really difficult, wasn't there? I remember.
there was a few.
I remember, sessions of trying to improve our singing. As we were struggling, I think, because it was in 4 parts.
Was it not the Lord's Prayer? Was it not the Lord's
There was
Prayer?
one that I'd play, yeah.
And we never actually performed it in public.
Well, look at the world. That was it. That was Ritter's.
Was it?
Different sections in the church here to try and get it all together.
That's right.
The contraltos met in one area, sopranos in the other, and the tenors in the other. Went through it all, section by section, and enjoyed it together.
Yes, that's right.
And we used to-
I don't read music, so that made it even worse, you know. Yeah.
We used to stand up there at the beginning of the Christmas Eve service,
Yeah.
and it was Alan Dorn who usually carried the candle down, and we came downstairs, and
He was burning his fingers by the time he got here, remember?
yeah,
I just,
it was lovely.
Oh,
Mr.
really?
Brown was in the choir as well.
Oh, yes.
And so was that wee man that had hearing problems.
Finlay Ferguson.
Finlay, oh gosh, yeah.
Finally, that's
Yes.
Finlay
They
Ferguson.
gave instructions and then they had to give the instructions over again. That's quite funny. And then one or two people huffed as well. I remember that night. Somebody was in a huff because somebody didn't please them. But I'll not name names. But he's not here. So, right, we're doing great stuff of all the different things. Is there anything we've missed out or anything you want to... you've got a wee note there.
Made notes.
Maybe
See if there's anything
missed
else.
out things. Lord David was meant to be here, but he said if it was a good day, he'd be out in the tractor. So, and I think we will have to acknowledge the fact that the Kennedys obviously played a big part in the background of the church. Well, you can see that all over dotted around. Just on the Sunday school, and I meant to point this out.
The flag.
The flag
Yes.
was made, especially at that time, the design and so on. You were talking about that. Here the
By
other
Sheila
day.
Moyer,
Sheila Moyer. worked
Well,
with-
she put it all together,
right.
but the children were involved. In fact, the actual design, I wanted the design with all the people in the world, as you can see it all holding
Goes around
hands,
the world.
right? And it was Mavanwy that
Okay.
come up with a lot of the design.
Yes.
It
Yes,
was,
there were quite a few things like that, and back to Sheila Moyer, I meant to contact. I remember fixing these curtains on the table run there as well. A few wee decorative bits. Gerald, you were talking about the church earlier. Some of these items here have been gifted, of course. You know, and I think that's from the Reverend Moffat. There, the lectern. I don't know about that light. What's the story with the light? Then I'm asking you, Gerald.
Yeah, absolutely. The lantern. The lectern there with the Bible's on it, was in memory of Mrs. Moffat.
All right.
And it's inscribed on the side. There should be a small panel on the side of the... there it's there at the top.
Yes.
And it swings round. You could read an Old Testament lesson from one side,
All right.
then turn it around and read the New
Two
Testament from the other.
Bibles.
The lantern was in memory of Mr. Moffat. That's
I see.
his memorial.
I see.
It
Sorry.
represents the light of the world.
All right.
Done in such a way, there's stained glass panels in it to reflect the panels on the windows
Yes.
behind there.
Sorry, I was just remembering that about the flag. And we do put up other flags at certain times. Is that right? For is it like remembrance?
Yes.
Amnesty.
very old. There was one up in the brackets are still there. Yeah.
And of course we had beautiful flowers
Yes.
for
The flowers
every
were-
Sunday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful
every
flowers.
Sunday. We took it turnabout. You always had your turn every year of giving the flowers.
Certain months.
Nancy Kelly was well into
Nancy
that.
Kelly and
Jean McClendon.
Jean
Jean
McCrindle.
Had it for-
Jean
And Anne
McCrindle
Phillips.
and
Yeah.
and Janet McFadden.
Yeah.
Rotary Janet worked on them. I remember giving
and
her
Sally Campbell.
picked my birthday. I think that was the way she had it, dates.
A rota. As we did with the elders, we had a rota with the elders, and you had your team of 3 usually, and I think it was a 5-week rota. So,
We're talking about changes. I don't know if there's anything else springs to mind. Or Jim, I'm not saying you're an outsider, but you're looking at things, you know, just reflecting on how things have changed even over the last 40 years. You've been in the village, associated with the village for quite a long time, but since Gerald came, certainly. I don't know whether you've noticed any differences or changes or...
Can you hear?
Didn't hear that.
No, Jim.
Didn't hear that, sorry.
Sorry, my mistake, I've forgotten to speak up. I'm just talking about changes in the last, say, 40 years, as you see it. Has there anything jumps out at you from either the village or the church or whatever?
Well, the thing that's changed most obviously is the numbers who come to church on a Sunday.
Yes.
When we came in 1996, I wouldn't say the church was full, but it was more than half full every Sunday. And the only thing that hasn't changed is the consistency of the ministry. Gerald has provided us over all these years with a fantastic consistency of sermons and prayers and praise, which means that you know what you're coming to every Sunday and it's something to look forward to. And I think all of us really do appreciate it.
Oh, very much so, yeah.
And just want to remember as well, Janet established the teas and coffees and so on. I think that was a nice idea.
Yeah.
To be a little social exercise after the church, a chance to catch up or whatever. So yeah, all these things are worth remembering. See, I've skipped over. I maybe haven't fairly skipped over some of your stories. If there's anything particular that you want to share with us that I haven't covered, just feel free. You'll have seen a lot of the changes, as we said, in May, and then just even I've seen a few changes as well in the last 47 years or thereabouts, from the children's involvement to later on, just the same. But as you say, Jim, it's Gerald's been the constant with us. I will be having a chat with Gerald, a brief chat perhaps, with Gerald, just because I will make this point that Gerald knows everybody. I think it's worth remembering that. He even knows my husband better than him. Richard is, I must confess, is not a frequent churchgoer, but he knows as much about the ones that don't come to church. I'm not saying they're gossip or anything, but has that knowledge and a fantastic memory just of everything that's happened in the last 40 years or so. So anyway, is there anything else on any particular stories, memories, highlights or anything?
I've got to hark back on to the Sunday school, because
sure.
that took 20 years of my life.
That's your story, yes.
One of the other things we did, Bangladesh floods, the Delta floods every year.
Charity stuff.
But a good number of years ago, it was devastating. It really was worse than it had ever been. And we had a meeting within a couple of days. I seen it in the paper. Go up to Ferry now, we got all sorted out. And we did a fundraiser called A Mile of Pennies.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And I went over to the bank and £10, gave them £10 and I got £10 worth of pennies. Or something like that, right? And when on that particular Sunday it was advertised that we're going to do it. This was all just bang, 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 because it was important to get the money away. It's good. And when the congregation went out to the Lit's Gate, they were met by two youngsters holding a tray with bags of pounds in it, so they had to give them £1. The person got the bag and they could nominate whoever they were going to give it to. And the kids started for the Lit's Gate and went right down the village, across the road, right, stopped traffic, and into the hall.
Yes.
And to make sure everybody knew what was happening, I had taken a very large siren that was off an old Rover I had and put it into my wee estate car. So when I blew the horn now, this thing, it was over 100 decibels, I think it was 110. That is loud. So even people that weren't in the church, they were opening the doors, what's going on? Of course, it was all plastered in the car, all the adverts and everything, what it was. And people come out, and that's the thing with this village, which is fantastic. Even people that rarely come into the church, when the church did a fundraising, they put their hand in their pocket and the thing. The village is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. And the wider farming community. I mean, when we say village, we mean the whole community.
It really is.
Yes.
It's a marvellous village.
Yeah.
But,
sorry, I'm disturbing you again.
Yeah.
Just remind me of something which I think is a Scottish custom, because I don't remember it in Ireland unless we were tight-fisted. That tradition of the after weddings, the coins.
what's it called?
Confetti.
Confetti.
No.
Scramble.
Scramble, yes.
Scramble.
Yes,
That was when that was the money. It was the confetti
so
as well.
what's the story behind it? Somebody that can tell us that story, because I think it's a Scottish thing.
It just became a custom that
Yeah, tradition.
when there was a wedding on, the children went and whoever was the best man usually held a lot of the
Change.
coins, and before they get into the taxis going away, they would just open their hand and the money flew
That's
everywhere,
right.
and the children just.
And the adults were
Yes,
throwing confetti at them, which was like curled up paper.
Yes.
Is this good luck,
Colour.
or was
Yes,
this...
yes.
I remember when I got married, the full kilt and the spawn was weighed down with the old
With the-
pennies.
that's right.
And of course, as soon as the car took off, the window went down, you're not able to lighten the load for the
So that was a good reason to get rid of it.
I must admit, that was a new thing, because my children, I think they missed out because they didn't know this was going on, but they realised there was a little group of children ready for the next wedding and hanging about the gates and so on. So, very good.
There was a wedding at Streatham last year, no, 2 years ago, when it came to that. It sort of died out, but it was £2 coins that came out.
Oh gosh.
There's a festival of £2 coins thrown all over the
Gosh,
place.
I would have been there.
That's inflation. That's inflation. Rampant inflation.
Obviously, it had gone up due to inflation.
Yes.
halfpennies and pennies.
Oh, yeah. Glasgow,
Meant
that.
to be halfpennies.
Yes.
I think it's important, you're asked about changes, and I was thinking one that we haven't spoken about in recent years when older people from the village have died, and it's lovely to be able to walk up to the cemetery.
Yes.
And the community shop used to be in where Jock's Restaurant was, and it moved across to the McCosh Hall, and the staff have put on a superb tea upstairs, and I think that's been very successful, hasn't it? It's been, can accommodate a lot of people, and it's been very good.
I was thinking about that too, and also the fact that the Sunday school was in, because the church doesn't have a hall, the Sunday school used the McCosh Hall. So we're linking, the McCosh Hall and the church, really,
It was like the hub.
in between. Sorry?
It was like a hub.
Yes, that was a
really-
centre, yes.
I think the village is about to celebrate the McCosh Hall's 125th.
Really?
Part of the aim of our filming, really,
Yep.
in the last, the other groups.
That and Gerald's 40 years here soon.
Yes. I would like to thank you all for coming again and your contributions. If you have any photographs or any other stories that we maybe missed out or anything, put them on paper and we'll try and incorporate them. I know it's difficult to cover everybody's background and so on, but thank you all. You've all contributed in your own way, so thank you very much for Thank you. Thank you so much.
There was an intimation.
Right, we can edit it out, so that's fine.
Okay. Thank you very much, Noreen. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming here this afternoon. And we certainly got the sunshine that we've been waiting for a long time. Yesterday, I began to have second thoughts of, oh dear, if it's cold and so on. Today, I was thinking about it yesterday, it might not be so pleasant, but it's been lovely in here. The atmosphere has been perfect and ideal for open conversation. Thank you for all your contributions.